Hi everyone, I'm Allie Buckman with the Potomac Bead Company, and today I'm going to show you an idea that we've done a couple times in our Hagerstown store location for our wine and bead night. This is what we call our Good Karma bracelet. A lot of people have opinions that gemstones have different healing properties that will aid based on their composition in health, whether it be mental health, physical health. A lot of people will wear magnets to help with circulation. So this we kind of have a fun example. This is called our Good Karma bracelet. The Good Karma bracelet has been really popular for us because it's also a great way, if you do have a lot of beads, to use up those beads. It can be worn as a necklace or a triple strand bracelet. So we call it the Good Karma bracelet, but it can actually be worn as a necklace as well. So it is going to be 3 times the length of your wrist. If you do have a metaphysical preference when it comes to gemstone, you can do all one type of gemstone. You can share a bunch of types, but this we kind of have joked that whatever is ailing you, no matter what, we kind of got all the gemstones on here, so it's all taken care of. So that's why we call it the Good Karma bracelet. This bracelet here is going to feature that darker antique silver look, or antique gold look, I'm sorry. So it has that brassy, dark gold color, and the seed beads that we're using are 11O seed beads to space out our array of gemstones. When you're gathering gemstones for the project, you want to stick to stones that are between 4 to 6 millimeter. If you do get a little bit bigger, a 10 millimeter, you may want something that's just a 10 millimeter because of the length, not something too big because it's going to sit a little awkward on the wrist. Also, when you do wear it as a necklace, it has kind of that nice dainty look to it, but has an awesome earthy tone with all the different gemstone matches, and will match pretty much anything that you're wearing. This is a great one to put on with jeans and a t-shirt to dress it up, or you can also wear it as that bracelet with a fancier outfit as well. So what you want to do for this actual bracelet is gather a bunch of gemstones. If you like the look but you don't want to use gemstones, you can also use check glass. You can use different size seed beads, so you can play around with the design. Here again, I use that dark metallic bronze color. In the example, I'm going to be using the Duracoat galvanized silver. So I have one in bronze and one in silver. For the gemstones that I'm using, again, pretty much things between 4 millimeter and 8 millimeter, 10 millimeter at the longest. I have an array here of jaspers and agates and some pearl beads and all different kind of beads in between when you're looking at it, as well as, just because I like the look of them, some man-made beads like goldstone and green goldstone as well. So if you want to get the color range of the Good Karma more than the metaphysical, you can kind of play around with the different beads that you're using. It's also a fun time. We have a lot of mixed gemstone strands, so you can get those in faceted rounds, you can get those in rondelle shapes, and you can get them in 4, 6, 8 millimeter. That will give you a lot to play around with to get that different shape and design wise when you're looking at it. So I don't have just all round beads. I have a collection of different shapes, smooth versus rough versus matte and faceted. So I've done that here. Actually, we have a bowl at our Hagerstown store that just has mixed gemstones that kind of hasn't found their home yet. All I did was pick up a handful of those and dropped them down on the bead mat right in front of me. In addition to my primary seed bead, and I do recommend doing one color of 11O seed beads. If you're going silver, the Crystal Labrador actually has a really bright, great silver look to it. The one color is going to make your stones stand out a lot more. In addition to that, you can choose whether or not you want to go the route of 49 strand beading wire, which is what this has on here. Or I have sitting near me some silk, and I like the flexibility of that silk. A lot of you already know how to put the ends onto your wire and your 49 strand wire. If you don't and you would like to go that route and you use the beading wire, you can check out our videos on crimping and doing a simple strung necklace. You can always look in the magnifying glass right by the top of the video and search for different projects based on the product or based on the technique that you're looking for, and that'll search for those videos within our YouTube channel. So if you do want to do wire, I would suggest 49 strand wire because you want it nice and flexible, because you are going to be wearing it either as a necklace or as a bracelet. It has that versatility to it. I also like the look of a charm on the end of this bracelet. So whether or not you're picking up something that you like, a butterfly or the evil eye, or I have a charm here that I've had for years that just has my name on it. It's a little PMC charm that I think I made about 8 years ago. Found that in the bottom of my little silver container, so I'm going to use that. And then I have one of our pewter clasps, and this is a pewter heart lobster that I'm going to be using at the end of my Good Karma bracelet. I also, because I'm going to be working with silk cording, I'm going to be working with size 4 silk in the white color. I am using knotting ends here. So these are knotting ends in a silver and sterling silver. I believe they came out of my sterling container. So they're sterling silver here. You're going to need 2, 1 for each end. On the example here with the brass, we also used a vintage brass extender chain. That way, if you do want to make it a little bit longer or a little bit shorter when you're wearing it, you can do that. Most extender chains are between 2 and 3 inches. I'm going to just be doing a loop because I know my size. So to make your size, what you want to do is triple your wrist. So generally speaking, wrists are going to be anywhere from 6 inches to 8 inches. There's kind of a 2-inch range there. I have about a 6 1/4 inch wrist. So I'm going to double those 6s and make 12. Then to add 1 more, I'm going to add 6 more and make it 18 inches. So therefore my necklace is going to be 18 inches. And 18 inches will also fit around my wrist 3 times. So that's what I'm going to work with as I'm working. I may make it a little tiny bit smaller, because when you're doing the triple wrist of the size that you actually want it to be, you're adding that much with each one. So generally my bracelets are about 6 1/4 inches around my wrist. My wrist is actually a little bit smaller than a 6, so I'm going to start with those 18 inches. The nice thing with this project is you can keep going, you can stop, it's kind of up to you. So as you're creating your design and just kind of picking up at random, you can actually measure it on your wrist as you're going. If you are using the silk cord, the brand that I'm using is the Griffin Beading Silk, and it comes on a card like this. I'm going to take the whole thing off the card. This I already used for another project, so it's sitting here and it was already opened. But generally speaking, the needle will be at the base of the card. You want to take the whole string off. When you're using silk, it is going to stretch a tiny bit. So I want to pre-stretch it. That way, when I'm working with my project, it's not going to stretch out a ton. And I don't want to see a ton of the silk. I just want the feel of it. Because I'm going to use all of this silk here, because I already had it for another project, I'm going to fold over my card. And I'm going to pull the silk through the card, stretching it as I go. I'm holding right after the needle, so that way I make sure I don't pull the needle off. And I'm giving a lot of tension and pulling through. The reason I have that cardboard is because I don't want to give my fingers rope burn. And you can pull it through. Some people will hang weights at the bottom of it. They'll get it wet and really stretch it out ahead of time. For this project, it doesn't matter too much. I want to make sure that I do give a nice good stretch when I'm knotting pearls, because I don't want a lot of extra space on that silk. But I'm going to pull it through that silk cord card 2 times, and that's going to get rid of all of that extra bumps from around the card, and it's also going to stretch that out so it's not stretching a lot on your project. So to start my project, I'm going to the very end of my silk cording now that I've stretched it out, and I'm just going to tie a knot. And I'm not worrying about how close to the end it is. I just want to make sure that I get that knot in there. Once I have one knot, I'm going to tie a second knot and make sure that that goes right over top of the first. That's going to make it a little bit thicker then. Give a nice tight pull. And then what we're going to do is go to the end of our cording where our needle is. You can straighten out that needle with your fingers. You can do it pliers. In nylon jaw pliers will straighten it out. I'm just going to straighten it out with my fingers. And it's basically a twisted cable is what that is there, and that's nice because it'll fit on a lot of beads. And there's not a knot at the start here, which is going to prevent it from going onto some of the beads. I'm going to take my knot cover here and I'm going to put it on through the base of that loop. What that's going to do is put the knot that I just made right into that little clamshell, and I'm going to let that hang out in there. If you want to, you could actually close it up and attach the clasp now. I'm not going to worry about it. Now that I'm to the outside of my knot cover, I'm going to start my pattern. So if you see the one right here, you can see that there's a pattern of seed beads, beads, seed beads, beads. No pattern in particular though for the beads. I do want some consistency again with the size, and I also want consistency with a little bit of space in between. Whether or not that means 2 seed beads, 3, 3, 3, 2, or in here there's some that have 4. That's up to you. I'm going to play around with that spacing and string my 17.5 inches of string, because I'm only going to add about an extra 1/2 inch with my actual clasp. So I'm just going to continue stringing, and even though I'm using this silk, I'm not going to knot at all. I'm just going to keep going, and I really am going to pick up beads at random. Again, if you're using a wire, you can put your clasp on, or you can use a bead stopper. And all I'm going to do is continue adding my beads, whether or not that is, again, 2, 3, or 4 seed beads at a time. And then pick up another bead and put it onto my silk. So I'm continuing on getting that look, and I'll push all those beads down so you can see them. And that's going to start my Good Karma bracelet. So you can see the difference of the dark versus light, and the dark kind of makes the gemstones pop a little bit more. The light is a softer look. But again, I'm going to continue for about 17.5 inches, just picking up my beads at random and adding the seed beads as those spacers. So I'm done with my length, and I've got aventurine and citrine and aquamarine and pyrite and amethyst and tiger's eye and coral and pearls and Russian amazonite, all kinds of different gemstones on here. And what I'm going to do now is get ready to add my end. I am going to end with some seed beads, so I have 2 seed beads on here. And what I'm going to do is go to the end of my silk cording, and I'm going to put my needle through the back of that knot cover. When I do that, I'm going to give a nice tight pull to get those beads all nice and tight and close. And I'm going to tie a knot inside that loop. If you need to, you can take a needle, if there's one sitting near you, and actually put it inside that loop. Pull the loop nice and tight, and the needle will just keep it from going tight until you exactly have it where you want it. Pull out that needle and then give a nice tight pull. I'm going to do the same thing, if I can, tying that second knot below the first knot. So I hook that below and then do a nice tight pull and get that second knot done. What I'm going to do now is trim the ends of my thread down so that silk gets cut off. If you do still have your silk card, it's always a good idea, so you remember what size they are, to wrap it back around your card. So this is my second project with this one little piece of silk cording, and I'll have enough to do another one as well. I'm going to take my super glue glue then, go right into my knots here on both ends and glue those knots. I want to just glue the knots. I don't want to do too much glue that it goes back onto my project. If for some reason you would need to cut it apart and redo it, then you're going to get glue into your project. So I always want to use just the super glue on just the knots and not actually the beads. Once I have the glue starting to dry, I'm going to cut my thread down really short so that way it's going to be hidden inside that knot cover. I'm then going to attach my ends. On this end again here, on this antique brass end, we attach the wire, or you could at this point attach the crimp cover to a length of chain and attach the charm onto that end. I'm going to be attaching to my lobster clasp, and I'm going to take my needle nose pliers here, and what I'm going to do is bend inward that loop that's hanging out on the side of the knot cover and make that just a little bit more of a loop shape. Then I'm going to take my pliers and actually close up that clamshell. On the other side then, what I'm going to do is attach to my loop on my charm. So I added a loop to the charm, same thing, bend that down, and then close up that cover. And then that's it. The whole bracelet is completed. So it's a nice quick project. If you're doing beading wire, it's even quicker because all you're doing is crimping onto those ends. But again, I love the kind of versatility and the flexibility of this silk. This then I can wear as a necklace. I used a little bit of a decorative lobster, but if I wanted to wear this then at the front, I could wear it actually at the front and have that little pendant be at the front of a necklace. Or what I'll be able to do is have that just kind of hang down onto my bracelet. So I can wrap it around my wrist 3 times or wear it as an 18-inch bracelet. If you want the necklace, and you want it to be able to wear it as a necklace and as a bracelet, but you don't necessarily want your necklace to be longer than, say, 18 inches. If you have an 8-inch wrist and you're doing 16 inches for a necklace, you can actually do just a double wrap if you have a larger wrist, and then that extender chain will just hang down a little bit as you wear it. It's also a cool idea to wear as an anklet, so you can wear the design as an anklet and just one time around. But all of these mixed gemstone things, I wear a ton. I have a pair of earrings with the mixed gemstones. I did the raw tennis bracelet with the mixed gemstones, and I wear these a lot because they match with everything. So I have my Good Karma bracelet all done. I can also double it as it can be doubled as a necklace. You can do one in the dark bronze color, you can do one in gold, you can do one in silver, and really wear them and get a lot of use out of your random beads that you have left. Everybody has random beads in their containers. If you do need some more gemstones or more random beads, we have tons that we have for you in store or online. So to get more updates and more project ideas as well as product updates, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel. We'll send you updates when we do new videos. You can also check us out on Facebook, and you can check out our website, PotomacBeads.com. On there you can order anything that you need to. You can check out our locations page and our class schedule page to actually go to one of our Potomac Bead Company locations. We have lots of products in our stores. We'd be happy to help you, to teach you while you're there, and to make fun bracelets like this as well as other designs. So thanks a lot for watching, everybody. If you do need some materials, you can always hit the show more under the details. You get links to some of the different things that we use here in the different videos, as well as links to the websites. So thanks a lot for watching, everyone, and happy beading, and enjoy your Good Karma bracelet.